He does like watching our streams.
Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, microwaves, and toasters. Welcome to Shoot Some Shale, powered by D&D Media. As today we present to you a watch-along of tonight's Cab Direct Championship meeting between the Poole Pirates and the Redcar Bears. I am obviously world famous Gunny Dan, as always, and tonight I'm joined by Dylan, as always, and I'm also joined by Callum tonight. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening, Dan. How we feeling?
All right, Mucker, are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. It'll be a nice fun, but it'll be a nice fun meeting, but equally quite a difficult one for us against quite a strong Poole team.
Ah, you'll be fine. Gavin Parr said so.
Yeah, Gav said we're going to get 40 points, so hopefully we can back that up.
Have the faith, and on our screen at the moment, Charles Wright looks like he wants about 80 fags.
Shall we
He's
cover
playing.
the breaking news whilst we've got a moment, fellas? The news
Go
of
on
the
then.
week.
Let's
Palmer.
go.
So, some foreigner has got his visa approved to ride for Birmingham. As you've probably seen in the press, you know, he's a bit of a nobody from Sweden, known as Freddie Lindgren. Don't really know how he goes. I mean, he's either going to be good or he's not going to be good.
Dan Thompson goes and contracts COVID again.
Well, he shouldn't have been
why not?
getting poorly then, should he?
Steve,
Not hard, is it?
Steve Worrell goes and contracts something. And Michael Palmtoft goes and gets run over.
Yeah, that wasn't his best idea.
I think I'd seen on Instagram yesterday, he confirmed that it's a broken collarbone, but he's still waiting for specialists to confirm how long if he needs surgery and how long the recovery time and things like that is. So it's obviously up in the air about whether or not he'll be making a comeback anytime soon.
That's 6 weeks out minimum, really, isn't it?
He has absolutely no luck, does he, that fella?
Nope.
And he was going really well, actually, as well. After the leg issues of the past couple of seasons, he started this season really well and goes and gets injured again.
Tofty.
Palmer, bit of news that has been confirmed by the man himself, so I presume you can confirm who's replacing Stevie Worrell in the British final on Saturday.
So, yeah, big meeting on Saturday, British final. If you do see me and Carl there on the back straight, don't be afraid to buy us a pint. And yeah, Steve Worrell will be replaced by the big man himself, sponsored by D&D Media, Simon Lambert.
Rumour has it he's the real Lambert, and I'm not sure who the other one is that's going to be there.
Never heard of him.
Well, there's some fake German imposter that pretends to be Sai. And somehow he's got a place in the British final. It's scandalous, really, but
He even used the same bike covers, didn't he, as him when he first started making
Yeah,
his...
the red and blue.
yeah.
Shocking.
Oh, this trap looks quite grippy.
I think I think Poole need to give some of that dirt over to Scunny.
We do dirt now, Mr. Steele. I know. I'm just as shocked as you, but
It gets put on and then taken off. It's like a pair of underpants. You put it on and then you take it off again.
well, right. Are you ready for this? After stock cars the other week, well, like the Saturday before our last meeting, Godfrey completely relayed the track.
Has that got something to do with that nice big patch on the first and second and third and fourth bends that rain in the meeting against Redcar, weren't it? And the week before against Workington.
I couldn't tell you about the Workington meeting because I wasn't there to see it. But
Are you on about the one that Workington were basically refusing to ride?
Yeah,
Or
that the one's right at the very start of the year.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's nothing to do with that. It's just we had stock cars, and Rob wanted to relay the track for how his riders wanted it, and we did it.
So, shall we look at the teams for tonight's meeting? And Palmer, do you want to explain the slight changes of duties for tonight?
So so we're going a little bit different tonight. Obviously, my team Scunthrpe are racing away at Oxford, so my full attention won't be on the Poole versus Redcar meeting. So I've decided to take the analysis role and just bring you up to date updates from my Cowley Lane tonight, or wherever it is in Oxford. It's a weird place up there. So on comms this evening, we're joined by our very, very good friend, Mr. Callum, to give you comms along with Mr. Dill.
Hi, I'm looking forward to it. It's obviously something I've never done before, so it's gonna be different. But I know obviously with Dylan's expertise of doing this the last few streams, he'll know what he's doing, and he'll be able to keep me right throughout.
Well, I wouldn't say that. That's the famous last words.
If Dylan knows what he's doing, then we're knackered.
Yeah. I ain't got a clue. Just wing it and hope for the best.
It's just like catchphrase, say what you see and just don't say it wrong.
We have no Alan tonight either. He's out walking the dog.
That's not a bad thing.
This is the first of back-to-back evenings of Speedway watch-alongs with us as well. Tomorrow night doing Kings Lynn versus Sheffield, where me and Palmer will be doing commentary, and I'll be doing the analysis role of Ipswich versus Birmingham.
Yeah, we're a two-man band tomorrow, aren't we? So
back to where it all began.
You know how it is.
So we've just 9 minutes till tapes up. I think we better look through the lineups for this evening. I'll do Poole, and Callum can do his team, the Redcar Bears. A little bit more respect for Cal actually, because he's doing comms watching his own team race, which can't be easy.
No, I'll try and be as neutral as I possibly can be. Although you may hear the odd cheer or. Well, I won't drop any swear words, but I might be a bit frustrated.
In Gavin Parr we trust.
So the lineup for the Poole Pirates tonight, making one team change with Max Perry being released on Monday for Vinnie Ford to come in at number 7. So the lineup's from 7 to 1. Vinnie Ford makes his debut at number 7 for the Pirates. After one meeting in the main body, with Tobias Thompson getting a real average now, Sam Hagan drops back to reserve, new British Under-21 champion. Skipper of the Pirates, Ben Cook, rides at number 5. The man who was released by Birmingham yesterday, Zach Cook, rides at number 4. Tom Brennan at 3, Tobias Thompson at 2, and Richard Lawson goes out at number 1. Cal, your man to watch for the Pirates.
So, I think it might be a bit of an obvious one, but from Sunday, I was really, really impressed with Vinnie Joe Ford. I think he did show some qualities which he possess, and I think obviously he was able to show that by mixing it up with some of the championship riders in the meeting, and he obviously gave Poole a lot to think about, and they were quick to the phone to sign him. So I think he'll be a nice debut for him.
Palmer, your Poole man to watch?
I'm gonna go for Tobias Thompson tonight. He's more than doing his job at the minute. In fact, if anything, he's exceeding expectations of most people, especially after his stint with Birmingham in 2018, 19, somewhere like that. So, and I think he's got a point to prove that he belongs in the championship. So, yeah, Tobias is my man to watch tonight.
I'm gonna go with the man who was released yesterday by Birmingham, Zach Cook. I think he's got a point to prove. I think that being released will light the fire under him, and he'll be trying to show Premiership promoters what he can do, so he's not out of a job too long. And the best way to do that is to bomb in the points for the club spot that he does still have, and he knows Wimborne Road as well as anybody.
Talking as that, he looks far too happy on this stream.
Cal, do you want to read out the Redcar Bears?
Yep, no problem at all. I think I'll obviously go from 7-1 like you did. So it's 7 tonight for Redcar. They have switched the reserves round. It's obviously a strategy which they've started doing from Scunthrpe, and it has worked the last two meetings. So Jake Mulford's at 7. Obviously hoping to have a bit of a better night than he did last night. He got 2 from 3, which is still a credible reserve score, but obviously it's just probably at the moment not to what we usually expect from him. At 6 is Ben Trigger, who's obviously going to be very, very high on confidence after last night. He scored probably his best results in the championship up to now, with 7 from his 6 rides last night. At 5, we've got Justin Sedgman as a guest tonight. Obviously, Justin Sedgman is been performing very well for Birmingham, being able to beat Emil Saifutinov on 2 occasions on Monday night, and he also put on a very solid display for Edinburgh on Friday against Glasgow. Was unbeaten in all but one ride where he packed up whilst in front, which I'm sure frustrated him quite a bit. At 4, we've got Jason Edwards, who had a very good meeting last night. Was the one that was able to take the Heat 15 wall. He scored 11 from 6, which included two nice wins for him. At 3, we've got our new signing, Dan Gilks. He put in a solid debut home meeting with 8 paid 9 from 4. Last night he was relatively inconsistent. He was either at the back or he was unbeaten. Scored 5 paid 6 from 6. Connor Bailey is at number 2. He's another guy who had a relatively inconsistent night. So he'll obviously want to try and bring that consistency to Wimborne Road. And at number 1, we've got our main guy, King Charles. He had a very solid performance last night. Only dropped 1 point in Heat 13 against Troy Batchelor. But other than that, he was nigh on unstoppable.
Cal, who's your man to watch for the Bears?
So for me, my man to watch tonight, I'm going to go with probably Charles Wright. He last night was just he showed how strong a number 1 he can be in this league, and on his day he could beat anyone, and I think he's going to be a key part. He's going to be a key player for us tonight in order for us to get as many points as we possibly can to take a decent-ish aggregate score back over to our place when Poole come over to us.
Palmer, your Redcar man to watch?
I'm gonna go for Jilksy. I think obviously he was called into this league a little bit later than what he maybe expected, and I think he deserves this opportunity to prove that he belongs in this league, and he can be very fast. So, yeah, Dilksy, my man to watch.
I'm going to go for Seji. As Cal said, he 2 weeks in a row he's beat Emil Sayvudinov, and I think he's settling down again now. He's flying for Edinburgh, he's flying in the top league, and he knows Wimborne Road very well, so I'm going to go for Seji. Palmer, while we've got a couple of minutes till tapes up, we're just going to have a quick look at the lineups for the other meeting tonight, if you want to run us through those.
So the other meeting tonight, Oxford versus Scunthorpe for the Oxford Cheaters. Dan Masters rides at number 1, Luke Killeen at 2, Jordan Jenkins at 3, Cameron Eaps at 4, Scott Nichols at 5, Ashton Chicken Goujon at 6, and Jacob Hook guests for Henry Atkins at number 7. For Scunthorpe, Kyle Howarth goes at 1, rider replacement for the injured Michael Palmtoft at number 2. Simon Lambert rides at 3. Connor Mountain goes at number 4. Jake Allen rides at 5. Nathan Ablett at number 6. And Luke Harrison at number 7.
Two very evenly matched looking teams there, I think. See how Ablett is after the weekend. Had another awkward fall, although did get some confidence back in the under-21s on Sunday.
It would be nice if he scored some points.
And we'll be catching up with Palmer throughout that meeting. As we look onto the screen now, riders are just getting ready to come out onto parade. All the bikes are there and the sun is out.
That is ideal for a speedway meeting.
There's a man in a vest there. This can't be right, although everyone else is in a hoodie, so who's really the crazy one?
To be fair, this is speedway in the south, so they have nice temperatures rather than up here.
True say. Just quickly on the screen, we've got the BSN schedule with tonight's meeting, Poole versus Redcar. Tomorrow night's meeting that we're also covering, Kings Lynn versus Sheffield. Then BSN go to Scunthorpe on Friday for the Scorpions versus the Bandits. Then we've got a few days off, and then this YouTube channel turns into Oxford Radio again, because our next one after Thursday will be next Thursday when the Oxford Spires host the Ipswich Witches. On the night after, on the Friday, Cal's team Redcar host Edinburgh, and the following Wednesday we will again be Oxford Radio as we cover the Oxford Cheaters versus the Poole Pirates on Wednesday the 19th.
Oxford Speedway Radio is bat bitches.
Riders now coming out onto parade. Palmer, you got any men to watch for the meeting that you're keeping an eye on tonight, being as we've got a couple of minutes?
For Oxford, I think it's got to be Cameron Heaps. Last time we watched Oxford, he rode incredibly well. And I think for Scunny, you've just got to go for Connor Mountain, who, he's been in fine form. I believe he top scored for Bellevue a couple of weeks ago at Oxford. And for me, he's also going to be a surprise package for the British final on Saturday.
Cal? He's dead.
R.I.P. in pieces.
I'm going to go with Ashton Bowden for Oxford. As you say, last time we saw him there, he was absolutely flying. Not quite at those standards on Monday night in the Premiership, but as we all know, it's a different kettle of fish. But he absolutely flies and can beat anybody there in the Championship. And for Scunny, I'm going to say... I'm going to agree with you, Connor Mountain. I think he's having a really good season this year, and a lot of people were thinking he was going to be the first rider to be released in the Premiership, and he's not been. And his form for Scunny's been nigh on perfect as well.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that, to be honest.
I'm back.
Callum's back with us. Cal, you're meant to watch from the meeting at Oxford tonight.
So I'm gonna go with I think tonight I'm gonna go with Scott Nichols for Oxford. I think he'll he'll be quite a key part and of the Oxford team in that meeting. He obviously had a bad night on Monday, for guesting for Ipswich against you guys at Birmingham, and he'll want to be able to put that right. And he's got quite a quick meeting to go to be able to sort it out. For Scunny though, I'm actually going to go with our favourite, Big Sexy Si. I think he's again just having another relatively consistent year for his standards. And I think he doesn't do too badly at Oxford. And I think with with Michael Palmtoft being out, it'll obviously mean that the middle order of him and Connor Mountain will need to try and step up and score them points, which Michael Palmtoft will obviously be missed. So I think he might step up and put on a good display for Scunny.
On the stream at the moment that we're watching, Sam Hagan displaying the British Under-21 Championship, going around getting the recognition of the Poole fans, which is really cool for Sam. He's a really nice kid. He's not got an ego or anything, and thoroughly deserves that title.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think obviously as we'd kind of been mentioning in the build-up, Leon Flint was everyone's odds-on favourite, and he, especially with it being at his home track. However, Hagan went there and he put in a very barring heat one, he put in a very solid display, and he even beat Leon Flint in the road to the final. And then once he was there, he obviously had that psychological advantage against Flint and made a brilliant start. And it was a very, very dominant display and showed how much he's came on over the last 2 years.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, Palmer's got me going now. But yeah, absolutely. And Palmer, any update on Gates or anything from the meeting you're keeping an eye on? Well, we've still got a few minutes while Sam Hagan takes the applause of the Poole fans.
Let's have a look. Results: Scunthorpe has won the toss. Call the meeting off now. We've won summit. We take Gates 1 and 3, and Connor Mountain takes the rider replacement ride in heat number 1.
And we'll bring Dan back in at certain intervals during the night tonight. Sam Hagan's still taking a lap. Cal, what was that?
I was going to say, just while we're obviously waiting for this meeting, I suppose the interviewee will become the interviewer. Obviously tomorrow night's going to be the debut of Freddie Lindgren. How do you reckon he'll do on opposition soil?
Is that for me or Palmer?
For you.
Well, you never. Yeah, he did some laps on Monday. Came over from Sweden to meet the fans and have a little bit of a press and practice, if you like, after the meeting. And he looked very quick. The one dominant thought on people's mind was that he looked very, very quick. I think he'll be fine. He has raced Ipswich before, but it's been a few years. I think it was 2009 he last raced at Ipswich, so it's been a while. But he's used to racing Wolverhampton and small circuits, so I think he'll be fine on tomorrow night. And yeah.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant to be able to get Freddie Lindgren, who obviously was world number 2 last year over here. And I think it's obviously going to be a good money maker for yourselves. It'll get quite a lot of the opposition fans wanting to hit the gates, as well as local fans from Wolves. Obviously, if with them sadly not riding this year, it'll obviously give them extra incentive to be able to go over there and see a former number 1 that they used to love and applaud. So I think it's good, and also because I feel like he struggled a little bit this season. So being able to come back over here and get more meetings under his belt, and to be able to retry the small technical tracks, I think it's going to be a move that'll definitely benefit both parties.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. As Palmer likes to usually say, if you're in the chat, in the comments, drop a comment, let us know you're here. We don't bite unless you've got cake. And whilst Sam Hagan is interviewed, other riders are actually being introduced now to the fans. So we've got a minute or two and we should be going underway. I think it'll be a good opportunity for us to just take a quick breather for a second. And we are back whilst we've just got a couple of minutes. Dan, bit of breaking news just coming out from Sheffield.
Yeah, the lineup for Kyle Howard's testimonial, which takes place a week today, on Wednesday, has been announced, with the Sheffield side consisting of Chris Harris, Kyle Howarth, Rory Schlein, Jay Etheridge, Josh Pickering, Aidan Edwards and Dan Gilks versus the rest of the world side, which consists of Ryan Douglas, Norrit Bladorn, Danny King, Charles Wright, Sam Masters, Jake Allen and Simon Lambert.
Decent looking lineup, that. Not quite as strong as the lineup he initially had, but still a very good looking lineup.
Think Freddie should do it?
I thought Freddie might do it, to be honest.
Be good extra track time for him for when Birmingham go back to Sheffield, because they've only been once, haven't they? They haven't been twice yet.
No. In the comments, we've got Andy Dugmore, our pal, saying evening. I think it's evening, Dugmore. Could be morning, could be afternoon. Who knows now?
The sun is shining, so it can't quite be evening.
Tom Brennan in his beautiful vinyl helmet to match his bike. Everything about that kid screams professional. This has got to be the longest introduction I've ever known.
Why can't it just be like Scunny? You go out on your bike, wave to the crowd, and you go back in the pits.
And
then you start bang on 7:30.
And you finished by 8:30.
Ready for Coronation Street on +1.
Yeah.
Riders now just going out on their warm-up laps. We've got 4 people watching now. I presume Big Daddy Dave is one.
I'm one.
Dan's one. I'm one. And Andy Dugmore's one. So what an audience.
Good whatever time of day it is to you people.
And some good news actually for more myself and Andy Dugmore, but getting the gig to work with Team USA for the upcoming Nations and beyond. That's a massive opportunity, and although Dan's not directly involved, with me involved, it'll still have D&D Media involved. So good opportunity for D&D Media.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and you know, as I've said to you, you know, I'm very very proud of how far you've come and getting this gig, and you know, you're not doing too bad, are you?
Well, that depends how you look at it. But no, it's a really good opportunity. Andy, professional until he loses it and screams naughty word
Insert naughty word here.
at the top of his lung. Yeah, I've never known a rider as passionate as Tom, and he does not like being beaten.
Well, if he gets beat, it costs him money, doesn't it?
That's it. The riders
Don't
now.
get beat.
Oh,
Sorry, I was going
traffic
to say
traffic lights weren't working.
it shows though his drive and his 100% desire and like an win at all costs attitude, which is definitely something that I feel as though GB Speedway might not have had in the last few years, and obviously an upcoming rider like Brennan seeing that sort of attitude and that urge to win is obviously something that's really promising.
And now, with the riders getting ready to come for Heat 1, we'll thank Mr. Palmer for his time and bring him back in at the first track grade.
No problem. Enjoy the meeting, chaps.
And Dan will mute himself just in case Oxford take a convincing lead against Score. The stream's gone. Palmer's killed it. There we go. Just in case Scunthorpe are losing and Dan loses his SH1T. Paul Wheeler has joined us, and we have got a programme tonight provided to us by the legend that is Paul Wheeler. That man and Google Doc spreadsheets. What a hero.
He is a technological whiz kid, our Paul. He does a lot of stuff for us. He's a top guy from that end.
Just looking at Tobias Thompson in the pits there, getting ready for Heat 1. Would have been at reserve had he not had such a good meeting last time out, and with his now real average off of his assessed one, Sam Hagen moves back down with Tobias Thompson moving back up to the number 2 position.
Yeah, he's definitely been someone who's defied expectations this year, as Dan had said. People have just looked at his Birmingham performance back in 2019, I think it was, and he didn't do that great a job, but he's absolutely flown for Poole so far.
Yeah, he's going really well. He started maybe a little bit slow, and I think he was a left field signing when he was announced for Poole as well. I don't think anybody really saw that coming, but he's showing why the Poole promotion had faith in him. Cal, do you want to read out the lineup for Heat 1, which has now gone off the screen, but I'm sure you know who they all are.
Yeah, that's fine. So in Heat 1, it looks like Poole have took gates 2 and 4. So off gate 1 in the yellow helmet is Connor Bailey. Going off gate 2 in blue is the man we've just been talking about, Tobias Thompson. Gate 3 in white is Redcar's number 1, Charles Wright. And off the outside in red will be Poole's rocket man, as they like to call him, Richard Lawson.
Start Marshall gets them all into line. Richard Lawson, somebody who's not very easy to beat around Poole, and I think he'll be happy that he's got the outside gate. Start Marshall's finally happy, raises his arms, green lights on, tapes are up, and it's a good start for the rider in red, Richard Lawson. Tobias Thompson sort of bundled out of it there in the first turn. Richard Lawson takes a look over his shoulder now to see who's behind him, and he's being chased down by Charles Wright with Connor Bailey in third at the moment. Tobias Thompson trying to go wide at the back. Lawson looks under control, sticking to the inside line. Bit of dust already flying, and now Lawson will just get his head down and clear off. Redcar just packing in the places, and Thompson cut adrift at the back now. As we just said there, Richard Lawson very difficult to beat around Wimborne Road, and is showing why. Got off to a really good start from the outside. Little bit of close contact in the first turn between the two Redcar riders and Thompson, with Thompson being sandwiched out of it, but I think Redcar will be happy to just pack in the places here with Lawson nigh on unbeatable around this circuit. comes around 3 and 4 for the final time. A little bit of pressure from Charles Wright, but Richard Lawson takes the win with relative ease in that one.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as you say, with how solid a rider Richard Lawson is at Poole, he sometimes riders like that, it's easier just to hang back, make sure you just don't finish last, just let him do what he wants to do, and obviously take away a draw, and then try and hit them in the lower end if we're able to. So the results for Heat 1 there was a win for the rider in red, Richard Lawson. Second was Charles Wright. Third was his teammate in yellow, Connor Bailey. And at the back, and struggling to get going after getting sandwiched by the Redcar boys, was the rider in blue, Tobias Thompson. So that's 3-3 as it stands.
And Lawson there was looking behind to see where Tobias Thompson was, but he just got the rough end of it in the first turn, and that was ultimately the end of his race there. Track looks like it's been a dry and bright day in Poole. The track looks very dry, dust flying already, and that was pretty much all she wrote from the start. As we know, the track is very difficult to pass on in the first couple of races. It's all around the inside usually.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely needs a little bit of water at the moment, but it's not dangerous. It's just a nice hot day. Once there's a bit of water and it starts to become a bit grippier, I think it'll lead to some good racing.
And Poole has been really good this season for racing, so no doubt it'll come good.
100%. Now all the riders are at tapes for Heat 2. So this time Poole are off gates 1 and 3. So going off gate 1 in red is Sam Hagan, the British under-21 champion. Gate 2 in white, hoping to build on a strong performance from last night, is Ben Trigger. Going in gate 3 in blue is Vinnie Joe Ford, making his Poole debut and hoping to make a solid marker. And in gate 4 in the yellow helmet is Jake Mulford, who's going to hope to have a bit of a better performance than he did last night.
Mulford and Ford are at the tapes. Hagan and Trigger now coming up to the line. Start Marshal looks happy, walks away, and it's a good start for the rider in red, Sam Hagan. Oh, he was very close to going over the inside line on the charge to the first turn there, and coming around the outside is the rider in yellow, Jake Mulford. Sam Hagan now goes wide to try and put pressure on, and he slips to the back. Ben Trigger comes through. Vinnie Ford lifted off the start there and couldn't really make an impact. Sam Hagan now finds himself at the back, going wide, following the Tobias Thompson line, and it's not worked. Vinnie Ford looks like he's got speed on him. He's got Ben Trigger ahead of him, with Jake Mulford now clearing off in front, and this is a good ride so far from Ben Trigger in second, keeping it down low, blocking the inside line. Ford is there, and a mistake from Trigger will see Ford come through, but I think at this early stage where passing will be at a premium, I think as long as Trigger stays on that line. Having said that, Ford's going wide around the outside, just gets his nose chopped off. We'll have one last try on the final bend. He elects to go wide, too wide, in the deep stuff, and he's off. Ooh, that was a big one.
Ouch. Ben Trigger did an amazing job there to be able to hold him off. Vinnie Ford just had loads of speed. He looked like the quicker guy, but Trigger just wasn't letting him have an inch. He was constantly looking behind him every corner, holding him off, and obviously that ultimately led to Vinnie's mistake, because he just had too much speed and he just couldn't get around him.
And he certainly was the quicker rider there as well.
Might have actually built just a little bit too much speed in that corner.
And that could have been nasty. I think he's probably just got away with that, but he'll be winded for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The one good thing is being so young, you just bounce.
Yeah, you do. And what's good is he's obviously straight back up on his feet. He's got the medical team around him, but I think he's just, as you say, just whinging and just having a quick check-up. Right, the results for Heat 2 are in, and it was a 5-1 for Redcar. First was the rider in yellow, Jake Mulford. after a great gate from 4. Second in white was Ben Trigger. Third in red was Sam Hagan after going too far wide, trying to get round Trigger, and at the back. Well, I say at the back after the Vinnie Joe Ford fell in the last corner, trying to get round Trigger as well.
Be interested to see that first turn again. Well, the rider in red, Sam Hagan, is very close to going over that white line, and he's just on it. I think he's just the right side of it, but he was very close to going over. Good start from Mulford, and Trigger rides a really sensible race to send Hagan wide in the third bend, and that was all she wrote for Hagan's challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Jake Mulford obviously seen Hagan as the stronger threat, and he team rode beautifully to let Ben Trigger nip up the inside and completely ruin Hagan's race. And then all Ben Trigger needed to do was just stay on and defend for dear life, which he showed that he can do.
Ford just walking back to the pits as the riders come out for heat number 3. Dan Jilk's Kevlars go very nice with that bike cover.
Yeah, I've been thinking that as well. He's definitely picked the right team to the right colours, hasn't he, for the championship. Alright, so the riders for Heat 3. The inside in Gate 1 is Dan Jilks. Riding in Gate 2 in the blue helmet colour is Zach Cook. Gate 3 in the yellow helmet colour is Jason Edwards. And off Gate 4 in red is Tom Brennan. And if the first 2 heats are anything to go by, Tom Brennan will be fancying his chances this race, I think.
And if this was any day before yesterday, this would have been a Sheffield Reserves versus 2 Brummies main body riders. All 4 of these riders up until yesterday had Premiership spots with Edwards and Jilks at Sheffield. Brennan now won't be, but on Monday raced as Birmingham's number 1, the youngest number 1 in the league, and also the lowest average number 1, but has earned his spot there with his performances this season.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy on form. He's stepped up quite brilliantly for the Brummies this season, and I think he's been a shining star in a bit of a dodgy season for Birmingham.
Start Marshall walks away, tapes fly, and Jason Edwards is there along with Zach Cook. Tom Brennan dropped the clutch well, but just got forced a little bit wide by Edwards, and Edwards comes around the outside of Cook. Tom Brennan comes up the inside of Cook, and it's Dan Jilks at the back at the early stage. So it's Edwards with the lead, with Brennan second, Zach Cook in third, and Dan Jilks at the back. Brennan going wide and looks to have the speed, but there's just not enough grip out there at the moment. And he's just sort of followed the leader in these early stages. Tom's got speed, he's just not... the line's not quite on the outside yet, although saying that, he's definitely made up ground on Edwards and he looks very quick. Edwards riding maybe a little bit conservatively on the inside. Tom trying to go wide and cut back. Does cut back. Comes up the inside. Ooh. Edwards just holds it on around the outside. Tom's had to go low, lost some momentum, and I think that's all she wrote for this one. Jason Edwards leads it home off the last bend. Tom Brennan close, but not close enough. And Zach Cook's packed up at the back and gifted third place to Dan Jilks there. So what was looking like a 3-all for the Pirates turns into a 4-2 for the Redcar Bears.
This is exactly what Redcar will be wanting up to now. I think that was a brilliant gate and move by Edwards to be able to hold off the clear threat in Heat 3 of Tom Brennan. Tom Brennan showed his speed in that one and was all over Edwards, but Edwards just found a line that he likes and just held it on. I think, as you say, if it was later on in the meeting, once there's more racing lines, I think Brennan would have got him, but it's a nice 4-2 for Redcar. So the winner in yellow was Jason Edwards. Second in red, Tom Brennan. Third in white, after Zach Cook sadly packing up, is Dan Jilks, and obviously Zach Cook finished last. So that's a 4-2 to Redcar now, and after Heat 3, the current scores are 6 to Poole and 12 to Redcar.
You'd have got long odds on Poole being tactical substitute territory down after 3 races.
Yeah, I don't. As a Redcar fan, I definitely wasn't expecting this. Obviously, it's still early days. Things could go horribly wrong for us, but I think we're definitely quite happy with how we're doing up to now.
And like you mentioned earlier on as well, Redcar coming in with confidence after picking up a win down at Plymouth last night. Winning meetings breeds confidence to the team.
Yeah, I think as well. We've just started the season, and barring that knockout cup performance, I think we've just been really low on form. I think we've been very unlucky with riders being quite inconsistent. So one week one rider's performing and the other one isn't, and then the week after that it's the exact same thing but the other way around, and we just couldn't get any points. But I think morale's high now. I think the riders have worked out what the issues are, and we seem to be starting to get results, which is very nice to see. Good old BSM with their dodgy graphics. They've corrected it now. So Heat 4 now. We're on the inside in yellow. We've got Jake Mulford. Poole going for an early reserve switch. In blue off gate 2 is going to be Sam Hagan now, not Vinnie Joe Ford. Gate 3 for Redcar in white is our guest Justin Sedgman. And off the outside in gate 4 in the red helmet colour is Ben Cook.
Start Marshall brings them into order then, walks away, tapes fly, and it's a good start from the rider in red, Ben Cook. Sam Hagan again squished out of it between the 2 Redcar boys. Ben Cook clearing off Jake Mulford there in second place at the moment with Sedgy on the outside of him. Is Jake Mulford going to allow the more experienced rider Sedgman around the outside? He does indeed, and Sedgman sets off after Ben Cook. Sam Hagan just got sandwiched out of it again there, and he's at the back at the moment. Not the homecoming for the under 21 champion that he wanted. But Ben Cook streaking away out in front. Justin Sedgman comfortable in second, pulling away from his teammate Jake Mulford, and Sam Hagan now starting to put Mulford under a little bit of pressure at the back. Hagan's winding it on. Mulford's going to have to ride very defensive here. He's keeping it low. Hagan moving wide. The line is starting to move out. It's definitely producing some speed around the outside now, and Hagan's all over the back wheel of Mulford. Ben Cook's checked out and gone, and Sedgman's safe in second. Jake Mulford, I think, has just done enough to hold off the under 21 British champion. Holds it low on the inside to come off the final bend and does hold on to third. Sam Hagan at the back despite a cracking effort.
Yeah, I think it's all the Poole boys are showing that they do have the speed. It's just Redcar seem to have Redcar just seem to be able to hold them off, and they're not giving them an inch, which will definitely be frustrating the Poole boys. But as we say, because of the way the Poole track is, that could cost us dearly later on if they keep going the way that they are.
And
so,
it's a fantastic start for your boys as well, Carrie. As a Redcar fan, you've got to be happy with this.
Oh yeah, 100%. Obviously going into the meeting, I think everyone would probably have been thinking that would be lucky to be even in the 30s. But to have been able to make the start that we have, but it's like not just being individuals going out and flying off. It's been really good team riding and really good just naturally holding off. I think the getting a 6-point lead early doors is definitely something that we can take on, and hopefully we'll be knocking the Poole Pirates' confidence a little bit, and realise they weren't going to be realise that they're not in for as easy a meeting as they'd have hoped.
And Carl, do you want to read out the result of Heat 4 before we cross over to Palmer?
Yep, no problem at all. So the result of Heat 4 was a win for the rider in red, Ben Cook. Second in white was Justin Sedgman, and third, doing brilliantly to hold off a very fast Sam Hagan, was Jake Mulford. The scores for that race were 3-3, with the current scores being 9 to Poole and 15 to Redcar.
And with the tractors now coming out, we'll cross over to Dan for the first time from Oxford for an update on Oxford versus Scunthrpe, and Palmer's knocked the screen share off again.
Sorry. Can I cry myself to sleep yet?
Not quite. It's early days yet. It could all change. How's it going?
There's bad, then there's bad, then there's normal red car bad, then there's this bad.
Do you want to give us the updates of the first block of heats?
We are 5 heats in now, and it is the Oxford Cheetahs 23, Scunthrpe Scorpions 7.
Ouch! And how did the races in the first 5 go?
Five heats for 5 heats, 5 last places for Scunthorpe, 5 first places for Oxford. Luke Colleen took the win over Sam Masters in Heat 1 over Kyle Howarth and Connor Mountain. Ashton Bowden won Heat 2 with Ablett coming second, with Jacob Hook providing the 3rd place finisher there. Heat number 3, Cameron Heaps took the win, like I expected him to. Connor Mountain comes second, and Jordan Jenkins brought home a 4-2 home. Heat number 4 was a 5-1 to Oxford, with Scotty Nichols and Jacob Hook defeating Jake Allen and Luke Harrison. And heat number 5, you'll never believe it, was another 5-1 to Oxford, with Cameron Heaps and Jordan Jenkins taking a 5-1 over Kyle Howarth and Simon Lambert, and I am on the verge of crying myself to sleep.
Ouch. Yeah, that's not good, and we'll bring Palmer back in, hopefully in a bit better spirits in a few races' time. As Jason Harold in the BSM booth talks to Vinnie Ford. Andy Dugmore saying, Dan sounds really depressed at that scoreline.
I don't know why, to be honest with you. Could be worse. He could have 5 points instead of 7.
Just having a look at the crowd, trying to protect themselves from this big yellow thing in the sky that we don't see all too often, actually.
Especially with the way the weather's been this year. It's probably got to be the wettest spring I've ever known.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a good run of decent weather now, and we can start getting some of the meetings that were rained off early in the season rearranged and run. It's going to be a very busy summer for Speedway after the start of the season that we had with the weather.
Yeah, it is. With Birmingham affecting any of the weather, or have you guys been able to still have your meetings?
We've been relatively lucky. We had the one rained off against Leicester when it absolutely pelted down. Other than that, we've been quite lucky, and the initial Kings Lynn meeting was called off as well because of a bad forecast, which did turn out to be the case. And
it was a proper one, not a little puddle next to the track.
Yeah, it was proper rain. And the riders coming up to tapes for heat number 5. So over to Cal to read out the lineup.
Yeah, so in red, off gate 1 in red is going to be Tom Brennan. Tom Brennan hopefully wanting to make a bit of a better start than he did in heat 3. Off blue in gate off gate 2 in yellow is Connor Bailey. In blue off gate 3 is Zach Cook, hoping that his mechanical gremlins are behind him now and he can have a good meeting. And on the outside in yellow, on the outside in white, is Charles Wright.
Riders just taking a little bit of time to settle. The BSN cameraman gets off the track, so now I think the start marshal will probably call him into line. Charles Wright just sat there happy with his rut. Zach Cook still digging.
To be fair, having a little look at me at my scorecard, all but heat 3 was won by the outside gate, so he won't have wanted to change much compared to what's happened earlier doors.
and Zach Cook now comes down to the tapes, final man to settle. Start marshal walks away, and it's a rocket gate from the rider in red, Tom Brennan. Charles Wright's there on the outside as well. Brennan moves up to block Charles Wright's run and does so. Zach Cook comes up the inside, and the Pirates run a 5-1. Charles Wright goes round the outside of Zach Cook now to get into second place and split the Pirates. Zach Cook's still there, but Charles Wright's got it. Trying to dive up the inside now of Tom Brennan, but Tom's got the speed around the outside. Charles makes a little bit of a mistake and drifts a bit wider, but Brennan lifts down the back straight. Charles going wide, Tom keeping it down low on the inside, and Charles Wright's got round Tom Brennan on exiting bend 4, and you hear Cal there in the background saying yes. Charles Wright now clearing off from Tom Brennan. He's still there, he's still got speed, but just no way around. A little mistake from Charles, but he controls it. Zach Cook in third and Connor Bailey tailed off at the back. Tom with a front wheel right over the inside line, just not enough grip there at the moment, and Tom will be furious that he left that gap around the outside for Charles to take. Comes back around the outside, good ride from Wright to just hold on from Brennan. And as me and Andy know with Tom, he will not be happy with that. Good race between the two out in front. Connor Bailey never really in it. It was a really good gate from Tom Brennan, but Charles Wright found the speed around the outside and made it stick.
Yeah, it was Tom Brennan did everything right except that leaving that space for Charles Wright on the outside. He made the perfect gate and he completely cut Wright off to allow his teammate through for a 5-1, but Charles Wright just found the beauty spot of the outside line, was able to make his way around Zach, and then was able to do exactly the same thing with Tom Brennan. And I think Tom Brennan will be furious with that one. So the results for Heat 5 was a win for the rider in white, Charles Wright. Second in red was Tom Brennan, and third was in blue was Zach Cook. Connor Bailey was just chilling out at the back watching the action unfold. So in that race, it was once again 3 for Poole and 3 for Redcar, with the total scores now going 12 to Poole and 18 for Redcar. And Poole is still in that tactical sub territory. And
the important thing to remember about this is that it's a league meeting, so tacticals can be used, unlike Knockout Cup and two-legged competitions. So with tomorrow night's meeting, the Premiership one we're doing, you won't be able to use tactical because it's Knockout Cup. But for tonight's meeting, with it being the Championship, tacticals can be used and probably will be used.
I can imagine Poole actually going for it now, because I think it'll either be now or it'll be for Sam Hagan in Heat 7, because I think Thompson obviously struggled in Heat 1, and Ben Cook had got the better of Justin Sedgman, so it might be a good advantage to take. But I do think I've seen Thompson ride out, so they've just completely ignored what I've just said.
How dare they ignore the Redcar fan?
I know. Shocking. Right. So all the riders are up tapes for Heat 6. For this one, off the inside in white is Justin Sedgman. Gate 2 in the red helmet colour, hoping to build on his strong start, is Poole's Rocket Man, Richard Lawson. Off 3 in yellow, hoping to build on a strong paid win in Heat 2, is Ben Trigger. And on the outside in blue is Tobias Thompson, hoping for a bit of a better start after the one he had in Heat 1, where the Redcar guys just sandwiched him and he had no space to move.
I am quite surprised they didn't play the tactical here, with Poole probably off the favoured gates 2 and 4 as well, although gate 1 did work in that last one for Brennan.
Yeah, it did. Although at the same time, if they can get a 3-3 in this one, using Lawson in Heat 7 could work, but at the same time they could get a 4-2 advantage, and that would then just remove it.
Tapes fly, and Justin Sedgman actually makes a start. Richard Lawson getting a little bit too much lift. Richard Lawson cuts up the inside, chops Sedgy's nose off down the back straight, and gets the lead off that inside line. Tobias Thompson crucially in third here, and does have speed on Sedgy, but Sedgy's just getting his wheel in the dirt at the moment. Lawson riding the mid-track line now, picking up speed and edging away from Justin Sedgman, who's looking behind him for his partner, but he's not there, he's at the back. And this was always going to be a tough race for Ben Trigger with the other three riders in this one. It's always tough being number 6. Richard Lawson now pulling away, got his wheel in the dirt on the mid-track line. Sedgy has no answer for him, but he is comfortably ahead of Tobias Thompson, and this will put Poole out of tactical territory and back within 4 points. Richard Lawson goes into the last lap in front. Justin Sedgman riding inside on the first turn up to the mid-track, exiting bend 2. Sedgy just keeping it tight around the mid-track and takes the win with ease. Sedgy in second and Tobias Thompson third. Ben Trigger just a little bit tailed off there, but nothing to be ashamed of in company like that.
No, definitely not. He did keep them honest. He was at the back, but he wasn't drastically far behind. So the results for heat number 6 was a win for the rider in red, Richard Lawson, continuing his unbeaten display up to now. Second was the rider in white, Justin Sedgman, and third in blue was Tobias Thompson. So that's 4 for Poole this time and 2 for Redcar, leading to the current scores now: 16 for the Poole Pirates and 20 for the Redcar Bears.
Sedgy nailed that start. Richard Lawson got a little bit too much lift, but cut straight back to the inside, found some grip from somewhere and straight across in front of Sedgy there to chop his nose off. Sedgy had to shut off, and Richard Lawson dominated the race from there.
Yeah, I think Sedgy, looking at how close Tobias Thompson was there, was actually quite lucky not to have conceded that second place as well.
And Poole just closed the gap a little bit now, Cal. The Bears started very well, but I think with Poole you never rest on your laurels, because especially at home they're going to come back at you and they'll put you under the cosh.
Yeah, definitely. You can never, even when you're ahead, you can never rest easy against Poole. They're a very solid home team. They won't be taking this. They won't be taking losing like this easily. They'll have rallied themselves up in the tractor break, and they'll be righting the wrongs of the first 4 heats. Just thinking there, if they actually did go for a tactical sub, they could have actually got a 5-1. Because I don't think Sedgman, he looked comfortable in second, but he wasn't especially quick. So Ben Cook might have actually done something there. Obviously, I'm not one to question Neil Middleditch. He's been in the game a long time, but things could be looking a bit different up to now.
And Sam Hagan again in blue here. Thought they might have swapped the reserve back and put Vinny Ford in, unless there is an injury to Vinny that we don't know about. Obviously, with the copyright issues, we can't have the commentary on, so we're just kind of having to watch the action as it goes and call it as we see it.
Indeed, we do. I'll have a little look on speedway updates after this race. But obviously, the riders are in for heat number 7 in red. Off gate 1, we've got Ben Cook again, hoping to have a solid race this time round. In white, off gate 2 is Dan Gilks. In blue, off gate 3 is Sam Hagan, and in gate 4 in yellow is Jason Edwards.
And the start marshal walks away. It's a very good start from Sam Hagan. Ben Cook is there as well, but Jason Edwards around the outside, comes up the inside of Hagan, and Jason Edwards hits the front there through the mid-track, holds it on the mid-track. Sam Hagan goes wide the line. He's moving out now, and the British Under-21 champion is all over the back of Jason Edwards, but can't pass Ben Cook on the inside line there, and he's starting to be put under a bit of pressure by Dan Gilks here. Dan Gilks has gone down at the back. He's stuck under the fence. I think he's going to try and clear the track. Sam Hagan all over the back of Jason Edwards, and if he keeps going there, he'll be past him as well as they enter the third and fourth turn for the penultimate lap. It looks like Dan Gilks has cleared the track. Jason Edwards pulled away a little bit now from Sam Hagan. Sam Hagan's got speed, and Jason Edwards has just pulled away now, and should be comfortable to bring home the win and share the heat. Hagan cuts back, but nothing up the inside. Edwards wins, Hagan second, and Ben Cook third.
I don't think anyone was expecting Hagan to make the gate he just did there. I had my heart in my mouth seeing Poole on gate on the 5-1, but a brilliant move off the outside by Edwards to be able to get himself 1/3 to first, and a nice vital 3-all to keep the scores at bay. So after Heat 7 was a win for the rider in yellow, Jason Edwards. Second in blue, Sam Hagan after a brilliant gate. Third in red was Ben Cook, and Dan Gilks unfortunately fell whilst chasing the Poole pair. So that's 3-all once again, and the scores are now 19 to Poole and 23 to Redcar.
Andy Dugmore saying in the comments, Vinnie Ford was warming up his spare bike. And Vinnie Ford is programmed to be in heat number 8, but we've got tractor grading at the moment, so we'll bring back in a hopefully less depressed Dan Palmer.
Hello.
Any better?
Oh dear.
We've hit 13 points.
Oh wow.
So since we left you after heat number 5, we've had 2 races since, and we're doing some track grading thing. I don't know what that is. Heat number 6 was won by Sam Masters, with Jake Allen and Nathan Alblick coming second and third to give us the first 3-3 of the evening, which was quite pleasant. And then the following race, Scott Nichols went and won it, with Simon Lambert and Connor Mountain beating Ashton Bowden for a second 3-3. So things are starting to look up.
It can only get better.
I mean, it can't get much worse, can it?
Ye of little faith.
I just wanted to ask Cal what it's like to support a team that's winning, because I've forgotten that feeling at the moment.
Honestly, mate, it's actually incredible.
Is it all right?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. I was expecting us to be I was expecting us to possibly be about 8 points down by this point. So to actually be 4 ahead is a very, very pleasant and a very nice surprise. We seem to be gating and team riding brilliantly, and Poole. They've got the speed. All the riders have got the speed, and they are capable of getting round us. But our defensive display on this track has been second to none up to now, and hopefully it'll continue.
Oh, hopefully, Mucker. Yeah, from what I've seen so far, it's been all right meeting. So, and it sounds a lot better than Oxford.
Palmer,
Obviously,
while we've got a moment, and then we'll bring Mr. Steele back in. Do you want to run through the individual scorers after 7 heats?
So Oxford Cheaters 29, Sam Masters 5 and a bonus, Luke Colleen 3, Jordan Jenkins 3 and a bonus, Cameron Heaps 6 point maximum, Scott Nichols 6 point maximum, Ashton Goujon 3, and Jacob Hook 3 plus 1. For Scunthorpe, Kyle Howarth 2, Simon Lambert 2, Connor Mountain 3 and 1, Jake Allen 3, Nathan Ablett 3 and 1, Luke Harrison 0. And Kyle Howarth takes the rider replacement in Heat 8, with Nathan Ablett coming in for Luke Harrison.
Cal, do you want to run through the scores as you've got them from the meeting we're covering so far?
Yep, no problem at all. So, for the Poole Pirates, we've got Richard Lawson on a maximum up to now, 6 from 2. Tobias Thompson getting that 3rd place in Heat 6, puts him at 1 from 2. Tom Brennan, very unfortunate up to now. He's got 4 from 2 with 2 second places. Zach Cook has got 1 paid 2 after that unfortunate retirement on the last corner. Ben Cook has got 4 paid 5 from 2. Sam Hagan, after a very strong gate in Heat 7, has got himself 3 from 3. And Vinnie Ford, after his tumble in Heat 2, has only ridden 1 race, and he's got 0 from 1 after the fall. For Redcar, Charles Wright has got 5 from 2 after a solid Heat 5. Connor Bailey's got 1 paid 2 after after riding their bike home behind right in Heat 1. Dan Gilks has got 1 from 2 after Zach Cook's retirement, which allowed him into that third spot in Heat 3. Jason Edwards has a maximum up to now, putting in a solid display against Tom Brennan and Sam Hagen. Justin Sedgman, 2 second places, gives him 4 points. Ben Trigger has 2 paid 3 from 2 after a great Heat 2 paid win, riding behind his teammate Mulford, who up to now has 4 paid 5 from 2.
And I think Palmer told me earlier on that BSN are doing the BSN Cup draw or something, BSN Series draw tonight. If he's still here. Or is he dead?
He's possibly going to have a little cry while the track grade's happening.
Hello.
What's this about the draw?
I saw it was either on the BSF or on some other form of social media. Probably the BSF, because it's the ultimate source of speedway information worldwide. But during tonight's meeting, at some point, they're supposed to be drawing the draw for the BSN Series semi-finals, which obviously Scunthorpe, Edinburgh, Workington and the Pirates are all involved in.
So we'll wait to see if the BSF is wrong again or whether it's actually right for a change.
And if it could be right, if we could draw Edinburgh, I would be greatly appreciative. Thanks.
Jason Harold passing us back, still doing some track grading at the moment. Fun fact, the fella who does the track curation at Poole is actually the track curator at Birmingham as well, Terry the Track.
He also was the track guy for Redcar for quite a lot of years as well.
Yeah. They got the water truck out. Track does look like it's got a little bit more H20 in it now than it had earlier on. Tapes are coming back across. Blue tractor takes the checkered flag. Getting ready for Heat 8, where we will hopefully see Vinnie Ford again, who looked very impressive in his first race. Just maybe fell into that trap of trying just a little bit too hard.
Yeah, definitely. He had the speed. Trigger was just defending brilliantly, and I think as the phrase that Ty Ruffenden used in that Sheffield Birmingham meeting, where he went to either win it or bin it, and unfortunately for him it was binning it. So he's obviously hopefully dusted himself off, and he'll hopefully come out in Heat 8 and see what he can do this time round.
And as we know, Jonas Knudsen was released by Redcar. Dan Gilks come in. He's not quite hit the heights we know he can yet, but does that signing seem to have settled the Redcar team a little bit now?
I think it has. I mean, obviously, I think it would be harsh to expect Dan Gilks to make instant change. However, he has been scoring points, which Jonas Knudsen, other than the 2 meetings early on, he really struggled to do. So he was only really getting us 4 points, 2 points every meeting, whereas the last 3 meetings that Dan's has got, he's got 6 points, 8 points, and 5 points. So he is actually getting the points that Knudsen hadn't got. So I think it has strengthened the team, and obviously having them wins has definitely boosted the morale that we've obviously been lacking at the start of the season. The riders are up for Heat 8 now. So in Gate 1 in blue is Vinnie Joe Ford, hoping to have a better time of it this time round. In 2 in yellow is Jake Mulford. Riding in Gate 3 in the red helmet colour is Tobias Thompson. And off Gate 4 in white is Connor Bailey.
Riders taking their time at the starts tonight, actually. Just waiting for Tobias Thompson to pull forward. Start marshal is happy with that, walks away. and the tapes fly, and it's a good start from the rider in yellow, Jake Mulford, and his team partner Connor Bailey is there with him. Tobias Thompson switches straight for the outside and he's around Mulford, and sets off after Connor Bailey, who's got the early lead. Vinnie Ford, he's all over the back of Jake Mulford as well and has got speed. Comes up the inside of Mulford now. He's going to try and send him wide. Can Mulford get his wheel in the dirt? He can just get it in and holds the third place over Vinnie Ford. Vinnie Ford's got speed. It's just track craft which will come with time. Tobias Thompson all over the back of Connor Bailey now. Connor Bailey riding a very sensible line mid-track to wide, and Mulford just starting to edge away from Vinnie Ford at the back. Thompson's all over the back of Bailey here. This will do Poole nicely, I think, because it'll put him back into tactical territory. And Mulford has just pulled away from Ford now for that third place. A little bit of a blue groove starting to come around the inside line there. Thompson all over the back of Bailey, but I think the Redcar man's just done enough. It's close over the line, but Bailey does take it with Thompson second and Mulford third.
Mulford rode a really good race there to be able to hold Vinnie Joe Ford off. Ford hasn't got anything, but he's at the same time he's showing that he is more than capable of this of stepping up to the championship. He's just, as you say, with his inexperience and his inexperience of the championship, he's just being held back. I think once he gets a few meetings under his belt and he gets to grips with everything, he could end up being a brilliant signing for Poole. So the result of Heat 8 is a 4-2 to Redcar, with the rider in white, Connor Bailey, winning. Second in red was Tobias Thompson, who kept Bailey honest all race but just couldn't get round. And third in yellow was Jake Mulford, leading the scores now to be 21 to the Poole Pirates and 27 to Redcar, and Poole back in that tactical sub-territory.
Could we potentially see Richard Lawson coming out in Heat 9 in blue in place of Zach Cook? Maybe a bit harsh, but Zach is only on 1 point from 2 rides. And against Sedgman and Trigger, you'd probably expect Lawson and Brennan to have the beating of those 2 riders, especially at Wimborne Road.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think you would expect them to get something in this race, but at the same time, when you're going for this tactical sub-territory, when you're going for this tactical sub-ride, especially with you being so far behind, you want to be looking to get 5 points rather than 4 to kind of try and get your meeting back on track. And Zach Cook might not be able to do that, but Lawson definitely could.
Zach is there. Maybe they're waiting out until Heat 10 and they'll put Brennan in with Lawson off gates 1. Well, they're on gates 1 and 3 again against Jilks and Edwards, but you know, if this ends up being a heat advantage for the Pirates, tactical territory's gone. But if, as you say, if it's only a 4-2 rather than a 5-1, that's 2 points dropped.
It is, but Middleditch has been in the game long enough, he knows what he's doing. So, the riders are there for heat number 9. In gate 1 in the blue helmet colour is Zach Cook. In gate 2 in white, hoping to get a win this time round, is Justin Sedgman. Gate 3 in the red helmet colour, also hoping to get a win this time round, is Tom Brennan. And in gate 4 on the yellow helmet colour is Ben Trigger.
Tom Brennan turns away to clear his goggles. Goes all the way back to the third turn. A very Ty Woofenden style move.
He's found where he likes. He's just straightening himself around to get himself perfectly in the spot.
Start marshal calls the riders up. Walks away. Tapes fly, and it's a pretty even break. Tom Brennan with a bit of lift. Zach Cook's there, and Tom Brennan's on the outside, and Poole are on a 5-1 in the early stages. Justin Sedgman's got it all to do from third place and does have speed. Zach Cook slowed down a little bit there to let Tom Brennan round the outside of him. Sedgman goes a little bit wide and picks up, and the Poole boys just edge away. Tom Brennan is with the lead, with Zach Cook in second place, Justin Sedgman in third, and Ben Trigger at the back at the moment. Tom Brennan settling out on that mid-track line. Zach Cook covering the inside, so there's nowhere really for Sedgman to come through. And the Poole boys do look comfortable at this stage. The blue groove is becoming a bit more prominent on that first and second turn though, and the Poole boys are just edging away from Sedgy now. Brennan on that outside, looking for his teammate, who's also looking for him. Zach Cook on the inside. and you'd expect him to bring it home from here. Sedgy, no real speed, and he's just being tailed off now. There's about half a straight in it as they come round to take the flag. Tom Brennan is with the win, and Zach Cook second, Justin Sedgman third, and Ben Trigger tailed off at the back.
Yeah, Sedgman, he just didn't really have an answer for Zach Cook there. Zach Cook made a brilliant gate, as did Tom Brennan, and they just left him for dead there. A brilliant 5-1 for the Poole team, obviously getting what I didn't expect them to get. So Middleditch did know what he was doing after all.
Well, I never.
So the win that time round was for the rider in red, Tom Brennan. Second in blue was Zach Cook. Some would say it was a Birmingham 5-1, but not anymore. Third in white is Justin Sedgman, and Ben Trigger was at the back. It was actually a Birmingham 6-0 up until yesterday.
It was a really good start from the two Poole boys. Sedgy got a little bit of lift and never really drove forward either. Tom looking over his shoulder there, saw Zach on the inside. Zach slowed down to let Tom round the outside, and then just moves up to edge away from Sedgy. Sedgy gets a little bit out of shape, and that was pretty much all she wrote. That blue groove on the first two turns, though, is something we've not seen at Poole for a while.
No, it's not. It's obviously picking up a lot of traction on the bikes, and it's allowing them to build up a lot of speed. And Poole used it perfectly. And they also demonstrated excellent team riding as well, with Zach Cook hitting that inside, Brennan on that outside, meaning that Justin Sedgman just couldn't get around them because he was just completely blocked off in all angles.
And the Poole boys were looking for each other there. Every bend, you'd see Tom have a look over his left shoulder, and Zach have a look over his right shoulder. Interesting Heat 10 here. The two unbeaten riders go head to head off gates 2 and 3.
Aye, nice in the middle. So on for heat number 10 on gate 1 is in blue is Tobias Thompson. Off gate 2 in yellow, as Dylan said, is Jason Edwards on a maximum. Gate 3 in red is Richard Lawson, also on a maximum, hoping to build on that. And in gate 4 in white is Dan Gilks, who has been struggling a little bit, but we might see if he can do something this time round to get a 3-all or even a 4-2 if Jason Edwards can make another perfect gate.
Start Marshall, just giving the riders a couple of extra moments to get ready. And Sheffield fans will be encouraged, particularly by Jason Edwards starting to find some form. Did struggle at the start of the season in that number 6 position in the Premiership, which isn't easy. Just starting to find some form for Redcar now, and it's rubbing off on his Sheffield scores as well.
Yeah, I think having Championship and riding regularly and scoring good points, it does motivate riders for the higher leagues to push on a bit more.
Tapes fly, and it's a brilliant gate from the Poole boys again. Richard Lawson gets the front on that outside line, and Tobias Thompson is there with him. Dan Gilks on the outside just gets his nose chopped off by Thompson, and then Jason Edwards comes up the inside of him. Poor start for Jason Edwards in yellow off gate 2 there. Poole are on a 5-1. Richard Lawson's checked out and he's leaving Tobias Thompson to fend for himself. Thompson's going for the wide line, the same as Lawson now, and picking up the grip. Jason Edwards is giving chase on the inside line. It's the line's really moved out now to the middle of the track, and there's not a lot down on the inside at the moment. Jason Edwards sticking to that white line at the moment, and Jilk struggling out the back, but the Poole boys are pulling away from Jason Edwards here, and they're going to turn it round and actually lead by 2 points if it stays like this. Brilliant ride from Tobias Thompson in blue, left to his own devices by Richard Lawson, who obviously trusted his younger, less experienced partner. Pulls away, and they come off the 4th turn for the final time. Lawson takes the win, slows down, just gets the win ahead of Thompson. I think he was trying to shut off there to let Thompson get the win, but Thompson gets a paid win. Lawson gets the win, and Jason Edwards' maximum goes bang.
Yep. It was a brilliant gate by Thompson. He's definitely found something that he'd been lacking in the first half of the meeting, so he'll definitely be proud of that one. So the results in Heat 10 there was a win for the rider in red, Rocket Man Richard Lawson, proving why he's so difficult to defeat around the Wimborne Road circuit. Second was the rider in blue, Tobias Thompson, and third in yellow was Jason Edwards.
Tobias Thompson popping donuts to end his meeting. A born entertainer.
I think that's a regular occurrence for the Poole crowd. He's been one that I think he's been a fan favourite. He's always tries to put on a show and make sure that the fans feel like they go away with their money's worth with him.
And Lawson there looking over his shoulder, saw that Thompson had it under control, and rather than trying to team ride and potentially slowing him down, just let Thompson get on the same line as him and follow him round at a safe distance, and they eased away from Jason Edwards lap on lap.
Yeah, but Edwards was constantly going on that blue groove on the inside. There was a couple of times where he did get closer, but Thompson was just completely away, and Edwards just had was just nothing that Edwards could do to get around him for the second place.
And as a Redcar fan, this has got to be a little bit difficult to take. Obviously, maybe made a better start than you were expecting, but to be 6 points up and then within 2 races to be 2 points down.
Yeah, I think obviously it's not the ideal scenario that we'd have wanted. I think it's obviously been promising with how well we've done. We just need to be able to try and get ourselves back into that groove and get ourselves back into that winning trail again, and see if we can push on and get that lead back. But the riders are there for heat number 11 now. On gate 1 in white is going to be Charles Wright. Gate 2 in red is Ben Cook. Gate 3 in yellow helmet colour is Connor Bailey, hoping to build on that win from Heat 8. And in Gate 4 in the blue helmet colour is Sam Hagan, who made a brilliant start in his last race, but he was just unlucky not to be able to hold Edwards off for the full 4 laps.
Right, we'll be the first one to tape. So we've got 5 people watching at the moment. Obviously, as Dan always says, get in the comments and keep us entertained during any pauses. All 4 riders at the tapes. Start Marshall walks away. And it's a brilliant gate from Sam Hagan in blue off the outside, and Ben Cook's there with him, and Poole have gated on a 5-1 again. Sam Hagan on the outside, Ben Cook on the inside, Cook looking over his shoulder for his less experienced partner. Hagan goes a bit wide and opens the door for Charles Wright up the inside, but I think he's just holding on to the second place with the grip on the outside, but he's leaving a big gap for Charles Wright, and we all know Charles Wright's not a very forgiving rider. If you leave him an inch, he'll take your arm. Sam Hagan there comes down a little bit tighter this time and has got the speed. He's got more speed than Wright, and he's just slowly started to edge away from the Redcar number 1 now as well. Ben Cook started to try and team ride Hagan, but then opted to get his head down and get away and let Hagan get on the line he wants to be on. Hagan's holding a very solid second place, and this will be a big scalp for the British Under-21 champion, taking the scope of the former British senior champion. With Charles Wright on the inside, no answer to Sam Hagan and Ben Cook here, and it's going to be a 3rd successive 5-1 for the Pirates, with Ben Cook taking the win, Sam Hagan 2nd and Charles Wright 3rd. Connor Bailey just gave up at the back.
I think the Leeds United song is quite prominent for Redcar at the moment now.
Why?
Redcar's falling apart again. Again, just I think that sweet spot on Gate 4 is just continuing to show, and Sam Hagan made a brilliant move, and he's got that outside speed, and he just went, and again Charles Wright just couldn't do anything, and we've gone from being 6 points ahead ourselves to now 6 behind, and we've got the tactical sub available.
Speedway is a funny old game, and it brilliant game from Hagan there, and Ben Cook's there. Charles Wright just gets clamped on the inside. Ben Cook has a look over his shoulder, just exiting the second bend, sees Hagan, tries to slow down, but Hagan goes a bit wide there, and Wright does have a sniff, but Hagan manages to find the speed and the grip on the outside to get back round the former British champion. Charles Wright does dive up the inside and tries to push Hagen wide, and Hagen obliges and gets his wheel in that dirt back around Wright, and it's pretty much all she wrote from there. A very wise, experienced ride from the young man.
Yeah, he's took to the Poole track like a duck to water. He's learnt the craftiness of the track well, and he knows exactly what's going to work for him and what's not going to work for him. And to be at the age that you are and beating a former British champion is something that you'll be pretty pleased with, and something that's quite good to add to your CV.
And we now have the interval, I think. So here's an opportunity to bring in Palmer for an update from Oxford before we take just a couple of minutes breather.
Good evening again, people.
How's it going now?
Well, when we left you at after Heat 7, Heat 8 happened and we thought we had a glimmer of hope, claiming a 5-0 because both Luke Colleen and Jacob Hook fell excluded, with Kyle Howarth and Nathan Ablett taking a 5-0 in Heat 8. Heat 9.
There's a book coming here, isn't there? There's definitely a but.
Heat 9 is the but because they Oxford, reclaimed that and got a 5-1 with Jordan Jenkins and Cameron Heaps taking a 5-1 over Jake Allen and Nathan Ablett. Heat 10, Sam Masters won with Connor Mountain in second, Luke Lean in third, and oh my Jesus Christ, there is a God out there because Jake Allen has won a race away from home as we've just got a 4-2 in Heat 11 and we're now only 15 points down.
That's a win in my eyes, 15 down.
15 down with 4 to go is basically a win, just give us the points now.
Do you want to run us through the scorers after 11 heats there?
So Oxford 40, Sam Masters 8-1, Luke Colleen 4, Jordan Jenkins 6-1, Cameron Heaps 8-1, paid maximum, Scott Nichols 8, Ashton Bowden 3, Jacob Hook 3-1. Scunthrpe 25, Kyle Howarth 5-1, Simon Lambert 2, Connor Mountain 5-1, Jake Allen 7, brilliant rider him. Nathan Ablett 6-1, Luke Harrison nout, and I'm going to bully him at work tomorrow for scoring nout.
And Cal, while we've got a moment, do you want to run us through the updated scorers after 11 at Poole?
No problem at all. I just want to say to Dan though, you could take some inspiration from the Redcar Bears from 2 seasons ago now and get 4-5-1s to win the meeting 45-44.
Please don't remind me of that again.
The best part of that night was actually seeing Redcar fans actually walk out early because they thought that you demolished us just for that to happen. It was one of the greatest things ever.
From the neutral perspective, that was some comeback. It just had to happen against Scuddy, did it?
Yeah, and also, well, Oxford fan, Bob Peasley, who was a Scunthrpe fan that night, actually turned around to my dad and said, "We're that far ahead, even Scuddy can't mess this up," and messed it up.
So it's bloody Peasley's fault all that happened then?
Possibly. But anyway, we'll go to the scorers for Poole. They're now 36-30 ahead after Heat 11. Richard Lawson, unbeaten with 9 points from 3. Tobias Thompson started off slow, but then had a good last 2 rides to go away with 5, paid 6 from 4. Tom Brennan finally getting his Heat win and finally getting his win this evening in Heat 9, scoring 7 from 4. Zach Cook with an impressive team riding performance in Heat 9 with 3, paid 5 from 3. Ben Cook with 7 paid 8 from 3 rides. Hagen, after 2 troublesome rides, has now got 5 paid 6 from 4. And Vinnie Ford has failed to score from his first 2 rides, but has kept the opposition honest throughout. Redcar now have 30 points and are 6 points behind in tactical sub territory. Charles Wright scoring 6 from 3, struggling to get around the young and new British under-21 champion Sam Hagen. Conor Bailey, another inconsistent night for him, with 4 paid 5 from 4. Dan Gilks not getting up to speed off the Wimborne track tonight and has only scored 1 from 3 up to now. Jason Edwards, after a very strong start, just struggled to get around Zach Cook in Heat 9 and he's got 7 from 3. Sedgman, despite scoring decent points, he hasn't looked that much on the pace. He's got 5 from 3. Ben Trigger, after a great paid win in Heat 2, has sadly failed to score against very strong opposition. But again, like Vinnie Ford, he's kept them honest and he can't be too disheartened with his display. He's got 2 paid 3 from 3. And Jake Mulford has been able to score in every race he's been up to now and defeating the opposite number with 5 paid 6 from 3.
Could we potentially see Charles Wright in as a tactical or Jason Edwards for Ben Trigger in yellow in Heat 12, partnering Dan Gilks against Tom Brennan and probably Vinnie Ford? I think that's probably the only time you can do it now because Edwards and Mulford are scoring very well and you may not still be 6 down come Heat 14. I don't think you take Charles Wright or Justin Sedgman out of 13, so it's either 12 or nothing really.
Yeah, I'd actually... Oh, but then again, despite him struggling, you would expect Gilks to get something against Ford. But at the same time, Mulford's proven he can beat Ford. So I would actually be inclined to go tactical sub for one and reserve switch for the other and have Mulford and White in this race.
That's a very sensible way of looking at it. That may not be too far wrong. And whilst the BSN stream shows us in the pits, they're taking their interval, so I think we'll take a quick 5-minute break and we'll be back in a few minutes.
So, welcome back to our coverage of the Poole Pirates versus Redcar Bears stream this evening. Thank you for being with us tonight. While we had that slight pause, we had the semi-final draws for the BSN series, in which tonight's hosts here, Poole Pirates, they'll take on the Workington Comets in semi-final action. And much to my delight, the Scorpions will take on Edinburgh, so it's basically an easy route to the final. And Heat 11's about to come on track, so I'll get myself all muted up and enjoy Dylan and Callum's commentary for the rest of the meeting.
And
Thanks.
as we expected, heat number 12, Charles Wright takes tactical ride in yellow.
And we've gone. Looks like we've gone for Dan Gilks in this one, hoping that he'll get a point against Vinnie Ford. So for Heat 12 then, in Gate 1 in yellow, taking that tactical sub ride is Charles Wright. Gate 2 in red is Tom Brennan, hoping to defeat Charles Wright this time round. In the Gate 3 in white is Dan Gilks, hoping to double his tally at least. And in Gate 4 in blue is Vinnie Joe Ford, who's hoping to at least get a point on the score sheet so he can go away with something.
Vinnie Ford's debut for Poole reminds me of Sam Hagan's debut for Birmingham, where it was widely speculated after that meeting that no rider will ever ride harder for no points. And it feels like that's going to be the case again with Vinnie Ford. He's racing really hard and really good, and he may end up going away with no points.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's put a very good account for himself this meeting. He's put in the efforts, but unfortunately he's just got no reward. But I mean, he could get something this time.
Start Marshall walks away. Tom Brennan absolutely nails that start. Charles Wright snaked, lifted, and went everywhere he didn't want to go. Tom Brennan's pulling away. Charles Wright is doing no favours for his teammate Dan Gilks there. But Tom Brennan's got his dirt in that wheel in that dirt. Charles Wright is closing down the youngster, but he can't quite make an impact. Tom Brennan looks settled out in front. Charles Wright not too far behind, but you've got to feel it'll take a mistake from Brennan for Wright to capitalise. Dan Gilks in third, and Vinnie Ford just missing out this time against very tough competition. Tom Brennan just with that wheel in the dirt around the first and second bend. Same again on 3 and 4 and looks comfortable. Charles Wright's got a bit of speed, but the start really put paid to any hopes he had of winning this race. He snaked, lifted, and that was all she wrote really. Charles Wright now looking behind to see if Dan Gilks is there, and the tactical substitute for the Bears is going to prove fruitless.
Yeah, unfortunately, as you said, that Gate 1, that start from Gate 1 for Charles was horrific. He actually did quite well to make sure he stayed on the bike. I don't know what he did, but yeah, that Gate alone just completely ruined any chances we had of getting something. But we managed to be able to share the points, and I suppose that's better than nothing. So the win goes to the rider in red, Tom Brennan, after another great gate. Second in yellow is Charles Wright after that horrific start. Third is Dan Gilks, and at the back, once again, unfortunately, was Vinnie Ford.
That was a horrible start for Wright.
I actually thought at one point he was going to end up. He was that much like. He was that out of control. I actually thought he was going to end up going on to the centre green at one point.
I thought that as well. Vinnie Ford was there or thereabouts, but you'd have probably expected him to have been at the back in this one against 3 Premiership riders, 2 Premiership heat leaders, and a rising star. So it was always going to be tough competition for Vinnie Ford in this one.
Yeah, he wasn't too far off the pace, but obviously he has held. He has got the ground running. He's shown that he is capable of scoring the points, and I think against a bit of some weaker opponents around this track, he could definitely prove to get something. But this first night just wasn't his, sadly. But it'll be interesting to see how he gets on in the coming months.
And Tom Brennan there, just wheeling the dirt, streaking clear, and Charles Wright really had no answer. There'll be a little bit of time allowed now, but at the referee's discretion. Christina Turnbull just allowed Charles Wright a little bit of time, with him having 2 rides in succession. Here's a good opportunity for us to remind you that we're back tomorrow night with Kings Lynn versus Sheffield, with Palmer back in his usual role of lead commentator, and I'll be doing what Cal's doing tonight, and I'll also be doing the analyst role of Ipswich versus Birmingham, featuring the debut of Freddie Lindgren.
You'll have octopus arms by the end of the night.
Multitasking.
Have Kings Lynn announced any guests for tomorrow? Because I know obviously they've had quite a few.
Richard Lawson guests at number 1 and Simon Lambert at number 6.
Nice, good choices of guests around the Kings Lynn circuit. 2 former guys who know how to ride the North Adrian Flux Arena very well.
And speaking of Richard Lawson, he rides in red in this one off that inside gate that worked so badly for Charles Wright just now.
Yeah,
I
think
Andy Dugmore commented a little bit ago, cheer up Dan, it could have been 75-15. Well, you've always got to look on the bright side. Charles Wright will be the last one to come round to the tapes, having just taken part in Heat 12 as well, and that's got to be seen as a missed opportunity, but it was always a risk putting in a tactical against Brennan, who moved to Poole initially because he was not overly great at the track and wanted to get better, and he's certainly dialed in around Poole now.
Yeah, he's been on the pace all night. He was just very unfortunate them first 2 rides, but now he's got himself going, and he's going to be difficult to beat if he goes into Heat 15. The riders are all now at the tips for Heat 13. So off gate 1 is the rider in red, maximum man up to now, Richard Lawson. In gate 2, the white helmet colour, hoping to make a better start than he did in Heat 12, is Charles Wright. Gate 3 in blue is Ben Cook, who has also had a pretty strong night up to now. And in yellow, off gate 4, is Justin Sedgman, who has scored handsomely, but I don't think he's actually been that fast.
And riders just taking a moment to settle. Ben Cook's not had one of his best nights either. A solid race last time out, but before then, won his first one, but paid second in his second ride, 7 points of a possible 9. Maybe not as solid as he usually is. Start Marshall walks away. Richard Lawson makes the gate from the inside, elbows into Charles Wright. Wright goes wide. Lawson comes off the inside, finds some grip and gets to the front. Charles Wright's all over the back of Richard Lawson, but Lawson knows this place like the back of his hand now. True out and out number 1 in this league. Charles Wright has got some speed in this one. Justin Sedgman's got ahead of Ben Cook, who's out the back, pulling all sorts of shapes, and they're being tailed off behind the Redcar pair. Richard Lawson clearing off out in front. Charles Wright just getting his wheel in the same line as Lawson is, but he's getting smacked with a load of roost off Lawson's bike, which is curtailing any opportunity. He has Sedgman there behind his teammate for the night, and Ben Cook can make no real impression at the back. Line seems to move him back down towards the inside a little bit more now. Richard Lawson streaking clear, absolutely miles clear, as Dan and say. He's packed up! Richard Lawson's packed up. Charles Wright comes through for the league. Justin Sedgman in second place. Richard Lawson's maximum goes bang along with his engine. And it's a win for Charles Wright. Justin Sedgman in second and Ben Cook third. Richard Lawson was streaking clear. Could have gone to McDonald's. Looks like his bike decided to go to McDonald's, packed up. Lawson's given up. He's walking off the track. He looks disappointed. Bike's going in the skip. And how's your luck?
That is exactly what Redcar ordered. So, the win goes to the rider in white, Charles Wright. He was fast, but he just couldn't do anything against Lawson up until him packing up. Second was the rider in yellow, Justin Sedgman, who just rode a beautiful teaming ride, just hanging back, letting Wright do his job. and making sure Ben Cook in third couldn't get round him. So that is now 5-1 to the Redcar in Heat 13, not what we expected. So the score has been, so the deficit has been dropped now to 40 for Poole and 38 for Redcar.
And just to point out there, after Cal's little come on, Cal is a Redcar fan, so obviously he'll be happy with that. We do try and be unbiased, but when your team are in action, it's difficult to do, and nobody can begrudge a Middlesbrough kid doing Middlesbrough kid things.
No, especially when a meeting is as close as it is. I think if there was a very one-sided meeting, I probably would have been quite unbiased and quite quiet. But it's a meeting which could go anywhere. So to see Lawson as strong as he was out front there, and then all of a sudden the heavens open for us. It was a great sight to see. So the riders are now up to the tapes for Heat 14. In Gate 1 in white will be Jason Edwards, hoping to build on that nice win by Charles Wright. Gate 2 in blue is Sam Hagan. Gate 2 now being a very strong gate for the riders now. Gate 3 in yellow is Jake Mulford, hoping to build on a very solid night up to now. And in the red helmet off Gate 4 is Zach Cook.
Not the best of nights for Zach. A brilliant paid win last time out with Tom Brennan, but before then, not quite his night. He'll be boosted by the confidence of that paid win in his last race, and he's off the outside gate here. Can make decent starts on his day, Zach, and Poole will be hoping that Zach and Sam can both get out the starts and put the Bears under pressure again. Jason Edwards, apart from the 5-1 he was on the end of in his last race, was unbeaten up until that point, so he's proven tonight he can do it. And Richard Lawson just made a good gate from gate 1 in the last one, so anything can happen here. Zach Cook, the last rider to settle.
I think this race will depend on who can get out the gate between Edwards and Hagan.
And it's Jason Edwards with the start. Sam Hagan goes wide. Zach Cook is on that outside line and he's got speed, but Jason Edwards rides a smart first turn there. Jake Mulford's at the back. Sam Hagan's got speed, and I think Zach Cook's just going to sit in and protect the inside line and give Hagan the opportunity to chase down the Redcar man. Sam Hagan going wide, building his speed up, turning back. He is right there with Edwards, and a mistake from Edwards. We'll see Hagan come through. Edwards riding down low, Hagan up wide. There does still seem to be a little bit of grip out there, actually. Hagan's got so much speed in that bike. Edwards may be riding a little bit conservative on the inside, but it's working. He has just edged the gap a little bit on Sam Hagan now. Sam Hagan in second, lifts a bit, and I think that's probably his charge for the lead over. Jake Mulford, first non-scoring ride of the meeting for Mulford, but he'll be happy with his night's work up until this point after a difficult one last night. Jason Edwards comes round off the fourth turn for the final time to take the win, but the Pirates pack in the minor placings and it sets up a last heat decider.
Yeah, it's been a very good night for Edwards. He's made the gate very handsomely throughout, and Hagan, I think he obviously was saying that Ford's worked extremely hard to get 0 points. Hagan's worked extremely hard, but he just hasn't been able to buy a win, unfortunately. So the results for Heat 14 is a win for the rider in white, Jason Edwards. Second, but pushing him hard all the way, was Sam Hagan in blue. And third, just hanging back, letting his teammate do the business and stopping Mulford from getting by. It was the rider in red, Zach Cook. So the scores for that one were 3 to Poole and 3 to Redcar, leading the current scores being 43 to Poole and 41 to Redcar, and a last heat decider to see what's going to happen next.
And while we've got a couple of moments whilst the riders and gates are chosen for Heat 15 of this, we'll cross back over to Parmat for an update from Oxford versus Scunthrpe.
Hello.
It actually sounds a bit more upbeat this time.
So, since I left you after Heat 11, I believe it was, where the scores was 40 points to 25, Heat number 12, Jake Allen and Nathan Ablett took a 4-2 over Jordan Jenkins. And Heat 13, that has just gone. Kyle Howarth wins his first race of the night. Jake Allen comes last, so there's not really new there, is there? Making the scores after 13 heats, 45 to 32, and my target of 40 points is doable, but it's not going to happen.
And 2 races to go there. It's basically all over, isn't it?
It's all over. My nan's on the karaoke already. It's just about hoping we can get a couple of heat advantages just to ensure we manage to get the aggregate point.
And we will stick with Palmer for the time being until the riders for Heat 15 here come in case there's any updates on Heat 14 from Oxford. Ow. Never pick a spot, boys, it hurts.
Get some cream for it, Mush.
So have you found it in this role tonight, Palmer? Not quite in your usual role, which you decided to share with me. How have you found doing the analyst role for a night?
It's certainly been different. I was able to go and do a laboratory visit and tell the dogs that nobody loves them, and it's been very different, and I'm looking forward to getting back and talking some rubbish properly tomorrow.
My voice is looking forward to you doing that as well.
I bet it's not easy doing it on your throat, is it?
God, it's not. Just looking at the gate stats from Poole, gates 2 and 4 are the favoured gates.
Jason Edwards was the only winner off gate 1 there as well.
Big up Jason Edwards, got a lot of time for the kid.
Always smiling.
He's just the happiest person in the world.
Gavin Parr looks a bit happier than he probably would have been a few minutes ago. And Redcar will take this all day long because they used their tactical, got a 3-all. You would have thought that Poole would have just pulled away from there, but the bad luck for Richard Lawson in Heat 13 to give Redcar that 5-1, just takes one bit of bad luck and everything can change.
Definitely, I think we've definitely got a bit of a lifeline with that move in Heat 13. Hopefully, it's motivated Charles White to. I'm expecting him to be in Heat 15. If he isn't in Heat 15, there's something very wrong. But hopefully, that little glimmer of hope and getting that win might push him on now to make sure we can beat Richard Lawson in full steam across the full 4 heats.
Laps. Palmer, any update from Oxford?
Unfortunately so.
This sounds ominous.
Heat 14, as you've probably gathered, was a 5-1 to Oxford, with Goujon winning Heat 2nd, mounting 3rd, and Luke Harrison's about as much use as a chocolate fire guard, making the progressive scores going into Heat number 15, Oxford 50, Scunthrpe 33, and I want to go and punch a wall.
Put a wall. Jason Harold just talking. The riders have been selected for Heat 15. Charles Wright is in white. We can see that.
It looks like Redcar have gone for gates 2 and 4 as well. He looked like he was guarding on the 4th gate.
So it's Tom Brennan and Richard Lawson versus Charles Wright and Jason Edwards.
Correct call in my opinion. So, Heat 15. Redcar look like they've opted for gates 2 and 4, leaving Poole on gates 1 and 3. So, in gate 1, in the red helmet colour, is Tom Brennan, who's had a meeting of 2 halves, 2 solid second places, and now he's been unbeaten since. Gate 2 in the right helmet colour, hoping to build on that Heat 13 win, is Charles Wright. Gate 3 in the blue helmet colour is Richard Lawson, hoping to have corrected his mechanical gremlins and become unbeaten once more. And on the outside in yellow, another very strong display for the young British rising star. It's Jason Edwards.
Do we have superheats in this league?
We do have superheats indeed, so we might not be finished just yet.
So a 4-2 for Redcar will take us to a 45-all draw and a superheat. A 5-1 to Redcar means Redcar win. Shared heat or heat advantage for Poole, and Poole win. All 4 riders into the start. Start marshal walks away, and it's a brilliant gate for the rider in red, Tom Brennan. Richard Lawson's there or thereabouts. Charles Wright got sandwiched out of it. Jason Edwards goes around the outside of Brennan. Brennan doesn't shut the door on him, and Jason Edwards gets the lead from Tom Brennan. Richard Lawson crucially ahead of Charles Wright, and if it stays like this, Poole will win the meeting. Tom Brennan's all over the back of Jason Edwards now, with Richard Lawson not quite sure where to go. Charles Wright winds it on wide, cops a face full of Lawson's roost. Brennan's now putting pressure on Edwards. Charles Wright is all over the back of Lawson. Edwards a very smart ride out in front. Brennan is now catching him up. Brennan sticking to that inside line. Tom Brennan going wide, cutting back, making a long straight of it. Edwards is sticking tight. Brennan cuts back. He's going to come up the inside. Just runs out of room. Brennan comes through up the inside. Jason Edwards goes wide thanks to Tom Brennan. Brennan goes wide, winds it on, goes round him, and Poole now sits on a 4-2 coming into the final bend. Tom Brennan with brilliant rides past Jason Edwards takes the win, with Jason Edwards second and Richard Lawson third. Charles Wright at the back gives Poole the win with a 4-2, making the scores 47-43. And I think these have done 5 laps.
Yeah, they're just not. They just enjoyed racing that much. They just want to do one more lap for everyone.
That was definitely 5 laps.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I seen the checkered flag after 4. Because the fans, like, you actually saw the fans wafting their programs like they did in the 70s. They just wanted to do it one more time, I think. That was a brilliant gate from Edwards, but Tom Brennan just used the pace that he's managed to build across the full night, and it was a brilliant move on the outside and a thoroughly deserved win there for him. So in Heat 15, it was a 4-2 to Poole, with the rider in red, Tom Brennan, getting that vital victory. Second in yellow was Jason Edwards, and third in blue was Richard Lawson, holding off for charging Charles Wright, which leads the final scores to be 47 for Poole and 43 for Redcar. Obviously disappointing with us having the 6-point lead, but from what I was expecting at the start of the meeting, to only be leaving with a 4-point deficit for the home leg, it's very, very good going, and something I'm very, very pleased about.
And at this point, Cal will just get the individual scorers off you for this meeting.
No problem at all. So Richard Lawson came away with 10 from 5 after having a retirement in Heat 13 and holding off Charles Wright in Heat 15 for that extra point. Tobias Thompson with 5 paid 6 struggled the first half, but then had a solid second half of the meeting. Tom Brennan has 13 from 5 after a very strong second half of the meeting where he's been nigh on unstoppable. Zach Cook with 4 paid 7, 4 paid 3, so he's got paid 7. Ben Cook has gone away with 8 paid 9. Sam Hagan has gone away with 7 paid 8, and unfortunately for Vinnie Ford on his home championship debut, he sadly came away with 0 from 3 rides. For Charles Wright, he's gone away with 11 points from 6 rides. Bailey, 4 paid 5 from 4 rides. Dan Gilks has scored 2 paid 3 from 4 rides. Jason Edwards, a very strong evening for him. He's gone away with 12 from 5. Justin Sedgman, a steady away meeting, but a solid meeting nonetheless. He's got 7 paid 8 from 4. Ben Trigger had a strong Heat 2 showing and got 2 paid 3 from 3. And Jake Mulford, another strong reserve display for him, and he came away with 5 paid 6 from 4.
And we'll very quickly pop over to Dan Palmer now for the final result from Oxford.
The final result from Oxford is we ain't got one yet.
We're still waiting for
Uh,
it.
we're still awaited 8-15, but it's still 50 points to 33. Sam Masters and Scott Nichols versus Kyle Howarth and Jake Allen in Heat 15. Just refreshed the BSN thing. Still nothing has come up yet. So, but yeah, a tough night down at not so lovely Oxford.
Andy Dugmore, good stream, chaps. What a fella Mr. Dugmore is.
Probably better because I wasn't on it.
But normal service resumed tomorrow with Palmer taking his job back off me and me taking my job back off Callum.
You're welcome. I'll allow you to do that.
Thanks very much. I think at this point it's a good opportunity to thank Cal for coming on tonight and stepping up. He really did a solid job, and it was good to get to experience it with Cal.
Thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity to do it. I really enjoyed it. Actually, it was not as done as I first thought it was going to be.
What a guy!
I've got a final update from Oxford if you want it.
Yeah, we'll have that update and then we'll close out.
It's not worth having the update, but I'll give you it anyway. Oxford got a 5-1 in 8-15. Final score 55-34.
Ouch. Do you want to run through the individual scorers for that one?
Oxford good, Scunthorpe not as good. So Sam Masters 12-2, Luke Gillin 4, Jordan Jenkins 8-1, Cameron Heaps 10-2, paid maximum. Scott Nichols 12-1, Ashton Bowden 6, Jacob Hook 3-1. For Scunthorpe, Kyle Howarth 9 and a bonus, Simon Lambert 2, Connor Mountain 6-1, Jake Allen 10, Nathan Ablett 7 and a bonus. Luke Harrison failed to score.
Oh dear.
So I do hope that I'll have cheered up a little bit in time for tomorrow's stream. And I just want to echo your sentiments, Dill. Massive shout out to Cal for replacing me for the night. I think he did an absolutely exceptional job, and he can come back any time. Better than the Alan chap that we normally have on. And as for you, Dill, yeah, you did your normal decent job, and looking forward to doing tomorrow's.
Yeah, it should be good. Kings Lynn tomorrow night. They're actually going to have the meeting on, unless it thunderstorms, snows, or the earth swallows up the Adrian Flux Arena.
Well, you never know. The pit gate might be faulty in the morning.
But yeah, it should be a good one. We were due to have Alan on, but Alan may not be available, so it'll just be me and you tomorrow night.
We're still charging him.
Back to the where it all started. I'll be pulling double duty, and you'll be taking your talking job back.
Thanks.
Not a problem. P45 for Alan. Yep, Cal to replace Alan. Alan said that. But yeah, it was a really good stream. You did the analysis job quite well. I can imagine it was quite difficult to swap into that role after being so used to being the lead.
Yeah, it was. That was harder than watching the actual updates, to be honest. But like every woman that's been with me and like being a Scunthorpe fan, we're used to disappointment. So yeah, but like every good night though, you've got to wrap it up at some point. So I'll leave that to you, Mr. Hodgetts, the host for the evening.
And thanks to everyone who's commented and joined us. Andy Dugmore for keeping us going in the chat, Paul Wheeler, and anyone else who's tuned in. We'll be back tomorrow night with Kings Lynn versus Sheffield from Callum, Palmer, Alan, who is actually in our chat. He's just not with us on here tonight, and myself. It's a very good night.
Good night.
Good night.